Hi, this is Doug Miola with KickPort International. Thanks again for tuning in. We're bringing you part 2 of our frequently asked questions video. We've received some great questions and comments and feedback regarding the KickPort products, and would like to share with you some more responses to help you to better understand the products and how you can use them to make your drums sound their best, and to also help you to better understand how the products work. Check it out. Won't putting a port on my snare drum or my rack tom choke it down and kind of ruin the sound and the vibration of the head? It's a very good question. A lot of drummers use moon gels and different type of adhesives, tape, duct tape, dampening products, because they want to get rid of those unwanted overtones that are created in certain tunings with certain types of woods and metals. And when you think about putting anything on the surface of the drum that you're hitting, it is obviously going to affect it. Now, if I don't have a hole in the head and I start putting tape or moon gels or dampening products, it's going to mute the head. That's what we do, and that's intentional. When a lot of people do that, they want that sound. They want to get rid of some ring or overtones. With the port kind of acts as a natural kind of equalizer. When you have that mounted in there, it's really not putting any more on the surface of your drum when you really look at how much of it touches the drum. It's kind of like putting some type of gel or some tape on there. But the difference with the port is you're actually doing something with that surface contact. So we're not just putting something there to dampen an overtone or a ring, but we're actually putting the port in there, and that port is actually going to produce other things, obviously, inside the drum to give you warmth and resonance and attack and tone. Now, again, I can't stress this enough. Drummers are so personal about their sounds. We're particular about the heads we use, the thicknesses of our sticks. So these are all just tools to try to see if they will give you a sound that maybe you're looking for that you haven't been able to achieve. Using, for example, a port on a snare drum, it may work great for 90% of the material that you play, but you may be looking for a particular sound where you need a sound that's super, super, super dry and very articulate, and you may find like that may not be the best solution to have a port for that particular sound that you're looking for. But I've been using the port in my snare drum, and the KickPort staff has been talking to tons and tons of drummers that love the ports, that use them in the studio, that use them live. And I've really found that I can get a lot of different effects and sounds out of one drum and different tunings. Even where I place my mic on my snare drum gives me different effects based on what the port's doing. So no, the port itself will not choke out your sound, but again, you have to think about what you like and what generally works for you. And again, experimentation, trying different things is going to be the best solution for you to get the most out of your sound. Is, hey, pick up a port, try it out, try it with some different head combinations, try it on some different drums, and then you can kind of get a better idea of what it's going to do for your particular sound. Do I put a microphone inside the port when I use it? Where do I place the mic? So generally as drummers, we usually think, oh, okay, there's a hole in the front of my bass drum. I'm going to stick a mic in there. Of course, internal miking is very popular. Most sound men like to do it. Most drummers appreciate the sound of it. But when you're using the KickPort, because the KickPort's doing so much to enhance your drum sound, creating a natural EQ, giving you those lower frequencies, you want the microphone to actually pick up what's happening after the sound leaves the port. So we typically suggest that you start with the mic directly in front of the port, and you want to start about 2 inches away from the actual port itself, and you want to have your mic kind of directly in the center. And around that 2-inch mark, you want to start to experiment. Have somebody work with you to pull the mic further back, bring it a little closer, till you hear that sweet spot that's really capturing the essence of your bass drum and the sound of the KickPort. Some drummers like to experiment with angling their mic a little bit towards the batter side where the beater would hit. So if you have your KickPort mounted lower on the front of your bass drum and you want to maybe angle it up slightly to direct it towards the beater, you can experiment with that. I've found great success in just having the mic directly square in front of the port, and it just captures everything beautifully. So experiment with it, but you really don't want to put the mic into the port because you're really not going to get the most out of it that way. Can I install a port after I've used it? And it's a very good question. When your drum head finally is done and it's time to replace it, all you need to do is to take out the FX port, and it has a little rubber collar that holds it onto the bottom or back side of your head. So when your head's beat up and you're getting rid of it and replacing it, you just pull the rubber collar off the back, pull the port off, and you can install this on a brand new head. The only thing that you're going to need are more T-rings, and these are the little gaskets that adhere to your drum heads, not only as a template, but these are the reinforcement rings that actually go on the head so that you can cut the hole in it and install the port. So the reinforcement T-rings are available. You can get a quantity of those if you're changing your heads frequently or you're touring or something like that. But these are definitely reusable. The rubber collars are meant to be long-lasting. They're meant to be reused. Of course, because it's made out of rubber, temperature changes will affect them, age will affect them. So eventually, these rubber collars will start to deteriorate. They'll get dry. They won't have the grip that they have when they're new. So after a while, if you start to find you're using them for, say, a year and they sound a little bit different, you're getting some odd sounds or maybe some unwanted noise from your port, it might be that you've replaced your heads quite often, and now the rubber gasket here is starting, the collar itself is starting to just get weak and lose its power. So you can get more collars as well. does the KickPort do the same thing as like a Yamaha subkick or a version of a subkick? And the answer is yes and no. The subkicks actually do work on the same principle as the KickPort, where you're actually creating and producing and enhancing lower frequencies that you normally wouldn't be able to get out of your drum without them. The difference between the KickPort and a subkick, basically, the KickPort naturally creates this subwoofer effect in your bass drum. So all you're doing is taking your existing heads, your existing drum, and you're installing this. So you're getting that lower frequency response, you're getting the attack, the punch, the warmth, the resonance, and you're just creating frequencies that you couldn't hear without the port installed. The subkick is actually working on the premise of being a microphone. So a subkick is basically like a 6.5-inch speaker that's mounted into the shell of like a 7-inch birch drum, and it's used as a microphone to capture lower frequencies coming from your bass drum, and then it creates them with that reverberation and that presence. So lots of questions about that. The subkicks are great, but they are not the same. Some people have tried using the subkicks and the KickPorts in concert together, and again, it's a very personal thing. But if you've ever been interested in working with a subkick and you haven't tried a KickPort yet, it's a much more affordable option, and you're going to be really, I think, surprised and pleased with all of the effects that this actually causes out of your bass drum. Again, this is completely personal. If you bought new heads for your drums a month ago and you go out and buy a set of FX ports for your rack toms and your floor toms and your snare, you can certainly take the heads off of your drums and install the ports. It's really based on your preference, how often you change your heads, how beat up they are, how they still sound if they're used. But you can use the ports on a new head, a used head, all to your preference. For the sound that you can feel, make sure that you check out more of the videos and all of the information on the KickPort products available on KickPort.com. Once again, this is Doug Miola with KickPort International. Thanks for watching, have fun, and we look forward to drumming with you soon.